of adjustments to try to tighten that thing up. He said it was an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 for loose.
What do you think Kyle Busch was earlier when he was sideways?
Well,
he was 11
at that time.
I'd like to say he was 10, but he didn't spin out, so let's give it a 9.5.
Well, he's probably going to tell his crew chief, Eric Phillips, said he was about a 5.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We saw Kevin Harvick at Atlanta that one day practice. Remember that? He looked like he's swatting bees inside the truck. Come off the corner and said, she's pretty good, y'all. And that's about what Kyle's saying. And you know, right now, Phil, the truck is better. Some of the air that is pinning that nose to the road, making those front tires stick so well, is now being blown over top of his truck by Todd Bodine. That'll tighten his truck up a little bit. It'll make it easier for him to manage that loose situation because he doesn't have all that air pushing the nose down.
So there's 1 and 2. Todd Bodine out front. Kyle Busch running second.
Since Kyle Busch went by Todd Bodine in that high line, Todd jumped up there and likes that high line. That Ron Hornaday truck, I tell you, that's been a fast truck now. He's made his way up into 30s, about a 2nd and 7/10 right now behind Todd Bodine. But he's driven away from Austin Dillon by about a 2nd.
So Dillon dropping off the pace just a bit. Into the 4th spot. Eric Almirola holding on to 5th. Matt Crafton is 6th. Timothy Peters, Johnny Sauter, Jason White, Donnie Leah, your top 10. There's Austin Dillon again running 4th. Dillon.
Check out the traffic the leaders are dealing with. There's Hermie Sadler. Hermie's riding along in the 18th position. He's going to go the lap down.
He was the last truck on the lead lap, so that will leave us 17 trucks now on the lead lap.
Last time by, Todd Bodine enjoyed about a 2/10 second of a lead over Kyle Busch. You know, during the course of this season, if you average out all the finishing differences, the margins of victory, it's only about a little over a second. That's how close all these races are decided. And one of those races was decided by 5 seconds because Hornaday and Johnny Sauter had a crash with 3 or 4 to go, and Sauter was able to save his truck and get to the checkered, and it took all of Hornaday's momentum away. But we battle this way every week in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Here comes the 7, Justin Lofton, going by the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Battle for the 11th spot.
12th, actually. Yeah. Lofton just grabbed.
Right in front of them, Stacy Compton. Remember, he was leading when we had the rain delay, came back in after everybody else, gave up all the track position. Now he's worked his way just outside the top 10.
And what about Nelson Piquet Jr.? He rides along behind these guys. We saw his problems on that restart, but yet has been able to run these guys down and be a part of this battle. These trucks are running all the way up toward the top 10 with Piquet in 14th. At the tail end of this group.
You see his serial. He was 21st back in lap number 43. He had dropped all the way back to 22nd after that problem on the restart.
Again, just continues to impress us, Phil, with the job he's able to do and learning how to race in NASCAR.
There's Donnie Leah right now. You know Donnie Leah, we talked to him during the rain delay and said he had an awfully good truck, maintaining a top 10 position right now.
Field spreading out now. There's for 10th and 11th.
Spreading out. That's 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. So you're right, Rick. They're a little bit away from the lead trucks, but they've got a heck of a battle going on for that 10th spot.
Great battle for position all the way around the racetrack, and we're getting close to green flag pit stops, I would guess. Let's go down trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, here's my question for you guys in the booth. Todd Bodine is scheduled to come on 75. They've told Kyle Busch come on lap 76, but would the 18 not be better off to follow the 30 to pit road so that they have a chance to battle for a position on pit road at the same time? I don't know if you want to be on the same lap or a different one. How would you guys call it?
Well, I think I would rather come a lap after if I was running second, because either that or try to beat him to pit road. You know, you don't want to be held up by Todd Bodine. What if Kyle Busch thinks Todd Bodine's not going to get to pit road as fast as I can? That might be his attitude. He might want to wait a lap, maximize his effort to get to pit road without any traffic in front of him.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what he would lose on that one lap is going to be minimal compared to what he could lose having to follow Todd down pit road and maybe not run the absolute fastest he can go down pit road.
10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th all on your screen. You see the battle for 12th, and we see the 4 of Ricky Carmichael, James Buescher on pit road, and let's go to Krista.
James Buescher complaining that he just can't do anything in traffic, the same problem he had earlier in this race.
Seems like problems on pit road for James Buescher. Now we see the 30 going by. Ray?
Well, the situation was, as Todd Bodine came in, you may have seen Chris Fontaine was in front of him, and Todd said it had to slow him up a bit. Bodine will come in. They're doing 4 tires on that Germain Tundra. They've got right sides on Kyle Busch's truck already down here, rolling around to the left side of this Toyota. The 30 of Todd Bodine has come out of his pit stall, and a little bit of a hang-up on the left rear for the number 18. Bodine the first to get away. Kyle Busch will follow him off pit road.
Yeah, that may transfer to a lot by the time they get back to the racetrack.
And look how much those top teams beat Chris Fontaine. Chris beat those guys onto pit road, but yet some 5 or 6 seconds, the teams that are racing for wins were able to make a pit stop faster than some of the guys that are just trying to get a top 20. Ray, who's next?
Hornaday's coming in for the last race for Longhorn, and he is going to try to take a chassis adjustment here. They may even go with a spring rubber in the left rear. Doug George trying to make that decision because Hornaday's truck was so free coming off the corners. Right side tires go on that Chevrolet for Ron Hornaday. They roll around to the left side. Apparently no spring rubber. They called that off. Going to do it all with air pressure. And let's go back to Krista.
It was 4 tires for Timothy Peters. Things could have gotten hairy. His tack is broken. You heard him mention that during the rain delay. Johnny Sauter, meanwhile, took 2 tires on this stop.
It'll definitely hurt Timothy Peters with his tack being broke. He's got to be conservative. He's got to run way slower than 35, 40 miles an hour, whatever the speed limit is, because he can't risk taking a penalty here.
Ray Dunlap.
There is Austin Dillon coming down into number 3, and his crew chief Danny Stockman told him to do was shut off the right rear bead blower. That'll help air pressure build up in that right rear on that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. The guys go to work there. You'll see right side tires going on. And as you said earlier, Phil, these guys have plenty of tires left over in the pits they're not going to need. They'll get 4 of them on there, and Dillon will be back on his way. As he does that, this 18 and the 30 go rolling by on the racetrack. Krista?
Skinner just coming in. He had complained that he had lost the handling. They went back on an air pressure adjustment and gave him a tear off 4 tires for the 5.
Stacy Compton is still remain on the racetrack. Remember, he pitted right at the end of that caution period, so he has a few more laps of fuel that he can get by here. This is what Todd Bodine was complaining about with Chris Fontaine. See, Todd had to weave his way around Chris Fontaine. Meanwhile, watching his tachometer to make sure that he doesn't speed. Kyle Busch has decided he may try to go around Todd Bodine, and when Todd peels off to head towards his pit, he does indeed do that. And there's our leader right there, the Melling Engine Parts Safe Auto Chevrolet of Stacy Compton.
Cycling through green flag pit stop. Stacy Compton still on the racetrack. We're hearing that Austin Dillon is going to be penalized for removing equipment from his pit box. This is a replay of what took place on pit road.
Keep an eye on this gas can right here. Just did it even go across the line?
Just slid
the yellow line
partially across the yellow line.
The NASCAR official right there.
He was
barely slid across that line.
Yeah, from that angle, it didn't even look like it went out of his pit. Austin Dillon has remained on the racetrack. He comes off turn 4 past the start-finish line. Is getting the black flag. See if we can get a different look at this gas can. Did it leave the pit box?
Remember, the yellow line is his pit line. Is his front pit line. Cannot take equipment with you beyond that.
Oh man, it just went outside of it.
It's actually even laying on top of the line, the very back of the can.
So tough break for Austin Dillon. He'll have to come back onto pit road.
That's a drive-through penalty. He has to come onto pit road and run the whole length of this very long pit road at MIS, and then off the other end.
Stacy Compton still on the racetrack, still your race leader. We have 11 on the lead lap as they have gone through the green flag pit stop cycle.
Stacy letting the guys know that he's going to be coming towards pit road.
You can see Austin Dillon. You have to be really careful. I'm sure he's frustrated right now. Really careful to make sure he doesn't speed on pit road. A rookie, sometimes one mistake will lead to another. Be important for him to keep that speed.
Krista.
Stacy Compton coming in. Also, Hermie Sadler planning to come in for 2 tires on this stop. You see Stacy Compton, as we said, one of the last ones that needed to come in because he had that extra fuel. You see the crew around on the right side for the number 60. Stacy Compton back in this truck for Narain Karthikeyan, who'd been running at Texas. And there you see just 2 tires, right sides only for Stacy Compton.
They did a stop and go for Austin Dillon. That's why he got into his pit stall, stopped, and had to take right back off again. Again, because of equipment leaving the pit box, and his gas can went out.
There he is, stopping right there. You know, most of the penalties nowadays result in a pass-through penalty, so.
Todd Bodine out in front of the field, though, with just 18 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch running second. He's 1.1 seconds behind. Hornaday is third.